Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Drawstraws podcast. My name is Nelson, and this is my co-host Logan.
Yep.
How you
Hello.
doing?
I'm doing just fine. What about
That's
you?
good.
How's the week going?
Oh, it's going swell.
Swell.
As you know. As you
Yes.
know, it's
Yes.
going swell.
First topic of the day, you want to get right into it?
What topic did we have in mind?
Well, I think we should talk about what you're excited about.
What might that be specifically? Because there's a lot of things that I'm excited about.
Well, why don't you pick one?
Okay, let's get started. I will make the transition over into this scene right here. As you can see, Black Ops 6 finally came out. I am beyond thrilled, as you can tell by my level at the moment. I'm currently level 43. I
Oh,
haven't hit Prestige yet, but I would like to hit Prestige 1 by the end of tonight. After this podcast, if Logan is willing, he may want to suffer with me. That
yes,
way,
I think I will suffer a little bit.
here are my stats at the moment. Win loss, not great. I don't care. Elims per death, I don't care either. I'm just here for the camos, and that's about it. Currently, I have about almost four guns gold. I'm working on this assault rifle right here. I've
Ooh.
almost got a gold. I need to get
Oh,
four more double kills. So, oh, here's the for those who are interested, which probably will be not that many people. You have diamond, you have dark spine, and then the glorious dark matter
oh
camo.
man, look at that. Have you said that this is Black Ops 6 yet?
Yeah, Black Ops 6 finally came out.
Okay,
I
yeah.
believe I said that. I might be wrong, but
I don't remember already.
but important thing is it's here finally, and
Very exciting.
now I
How
yes,
long
it
have you been
is.
waiting for this game?
Uh for a little bit. I mean, it got announced in June, I want
Yeah.
to say, so at the Xbox Game Showcase in June, something like that along those lines. They did the reveal for Black Ops 6, which I mean, at first, as you know, with how the COD cycle goes,
Yep.
new trailer comes out, people are excited for it, they're curious and interested about the game, but we're all speculating exactly what it's going to be like at launch because there's a lot of issues within the COD community, mainly skill-based matchmaking, of course, that just plague the newer Call of Duty games. But I mean, with that being said, yes, the lobbies are incredibly sweaty, and I've taken a couple of showers, I will say that, just to avoid it. But
And you've been playing for how long?
let me check. Let's check the barracks at the moment. Let's see. If we turn our attention to here, go to combat record, it says that I have around 10 hours and 13 minutes worth of playtime.
Wow. Wow.
So, win
On
loss is
launch
not
day.
great. Well, since here's the thing, I had to take a fun little fact for you. I had to take a flight over to New Zealand just so that way I could play this game early. So, I
Oh
mean,
man.
everybody also, I noticed when I went to the American Airlines, I noticed that a lot of people were also getting on flights to New Zealand and they also had their consoles with them for some reason. I don't know why, but New Zealand is really popular at this time of the year. So,
Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, but I finally came back home after about a day. So,
That's
we're here.
ridiculous.
That's all that matters. So,
10 hours. That's amazing. So,
yeah.
let's see. What are your like first impressions of the game? How do you like the movement? How do you like the gameplay? What are your impressions?
Well, let's actually check out the movement itself. I'll go into a little private match, but my initial impressions of the movement are it's a bit of a learning curve, especially for someone like me. Even though I've been playing Call of Duty for a number of years, you know this. I've been playing COD for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Um, but it's this is a completely this type of new movement system that they introduced. It's completely new to me, and it's well, of course, it's new for everyone else, but um,
It's a
to
big
give people
change.
yeah, to give people an idea of what this type of movement is like exactly. I'm not so sure if you've heard of the game Max Payne 3.
Mm,
It's a game made by Rockstar.
yeah.
Of course, Rockstar Games being the only company that seemed to innovate in many aspects except for the story design, but um, it takes a lot of inspiration from that. So pretty much, I don't know if the webcam is watching me at the moment. I don't know if your screen is, but
Yeah.
your character can dive forward, dive back, dive to the side,
Ah.
dive to the other side, all sorts of crazy stuff. And they can sprint backwards, sprint sideways. Here, I'll show you right now. So just loading in. Let's see. So you have your normal sprint forward. And in the older games, you used to just walk back and walk to the side. But now you can sprint left, sprint
Oh wow.
right, sprint backwards. And then you had your typical dolphin dive, of course, which is really cool. But now you can, while you're sprinting sideways, you can dive left, dive right, do it, and then you can also dive backwards. So they're really selling you the idea of being an action hero.
Yeah.
That's that's pretty much what it is. Um, that's what their inspiration is. It's like the '90s style action hero movies that you've seen before, and it's really cool. And when you start running around, jumping and diving, you can shoot while diving. It a lot of stuff that you can do to emulate, I guess you could say, a good type of gameplay flow.
Yeah.
And it is challenging to some extent. It is challenging learning the movement because it's a learning curve for everyone else. And I'm seeing kind of a divide between people on this within the Call of Duty community mainly. These are against bots, by the way.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm seeing a bit of a divide between the community at the moment where they're either loving Omni movement or they are completely hating on it because this is just going to increase the skill gap by a lot
Yeah.
because people are going to be spamming this and diving backwards and diving to the side and everything. So far, my stats, you've seen my stats already, just like within the first 10 hours. Um,
Right.
my lobbies, they have been really sweaty, but for the most part, I don't really see that many people, at least as of yet, utilizing this like level of movement, if you will.
Right. That's just what I was
So
about to ask. Do you think over time that's going to increase? Do you think people are going to start to get used to the movement and really take advantage of it, or do you think it's just going to be like one of those things where everybody's just sprinting around doing the average everyday thing?
I think, given the fact that what we have with the skill-based matchmaking at the moment within Call of Duty, and I don't think they're going to make any changes to it. I would like for there to be changes, of course,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for if you're a casual player, like you don't play often, like you don't play Call of Duty often, like it's not your go-to game or anything. Like you don't take it as seriously as like you could say I do, for example. Um, the average players, like the below average, the casuals,
Mm-hmm.
they're really not going to experience this level of craziness. Whereas the people who come back on and play constantly,
So you
the
think
ones
that
that
there's just going to be a massive divide between the people that
so
play often and the people that don't?
you're going to have two. It's going to be basically two different games. You got two groups of people playing the same game, but the experience is vastly different from one another. And I
Mm,
could go on a skill based matchmaking rant, but you know exactly what skill based matchmaking is, how it works,
right.
and a lot of it. I do think it's necessary for the game, but not to the extent to which they're doing it for like this level. The only type of skill based matchmaking that I would advocate for is team balancing, and that's it. Like you get some good players, some bad players in a lobby, and then what do we do? Okay, let's just balance out the teams so that way there's an equal playing field, and whoever it's either 50-50 or 30-70,
Yeah.
whatever the ratio of the match is going to be, who's going to come out on top. For for based on my games and experiences, it's almost like 50-50. So if you win a couple of games, according to the Call of Duty blog, they said, we need you to lose. Eventually, you're going to lose,
Yeah.
regardless. No matter how good of a player you think you are, it's just part of their system. And they know it, and they've listed it on their white papers or whatever it's called. It's unfortunate because, to me at least, I thought the point of playing video games was, to eventually learn, master, and get really good at them. Like that's the end reward, you getting really good at the game. And you inspire other people who you just like either demolish or you just play well against. They look at you and they're like, "Man, I really want to keep playing. I want to get as good as that guy."
Right.
That's how it was for me when I first started playing these games because I would get dunked on. I had like a .6 KD on like BO3, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around there, like a below positive kill death ratio.
Mm.
And I wanted to get as good as the people that put in the time and effort and that actually came out on top and just wiped the floor with everybody else.
So did
And it's
matchmaking
not
used to be kind of different? Did they have
it used to be.
what was it like before?
So you've played X Defiant.
Mhm.
You played it a couple of times with me.
Yeah.
I don't know why you put up with that, but I applaud you. But it kind of the philosophy used to be like X Defiant.
mm.
That was the old school philosophy. X Defiant says that there's no skill-based matchmaking in their public matches. The only matchmaking system that they use for the public matches is team balancing. That's what it used to be like for the older COD titles
Mm.
from like 2007 all the way up until like 2017, 2018, and that's about it.
Interesting.
But until Infinity Ward's God's Forsaken Modern Warfare 2019 installment, they completely got rid of that old system in favor of this type of system. And it has worked out well for them because retention is higher than it's ever been before. And then on top of that, revenues have been skyrocketing ever
Mhm.
since.
Yeah.
So it brought it to new heights, but in a way that is is it good for like the hardcore players? I'm going to say no.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
and I could, if I really wanted to, I could gloat and I could just show off all my stats just to show you that I'm not lying. But I'm just gonna say this: for the previous installments, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2, Cold War, Vanguard, even. Gosh, I don't get me started on that one. And 2019, I put in at least between 15 to 30 days worth of playtime for each of those games,
Wow.
and I've gotten all the mastery camos.
Yeah. That's crazy.
So yeah, I would do anything to if I could. I'd do anything to get all those days and months back, but unfortunately, that's not how life works.
Right.
So I'm basically revealing my poor life's decisions right in front of the camera. So this is what I do, by the way. I make myself miserable. So
So, there are some COD games that you would say are bad and some that you would say are good. Have you played enough of this game yet that you've got somewhat of an idea where it's going to fall?
first impressions are one thing. I
Yeah.
will say that. First impressions mean a lot whenever it comes
Right.
to video games, any type of entertainment. For this specifically, going to New Zealand, that was a blast. So,
Did you use a
um,
VPN or something? How did that work?
no, you want to know
Did
what
you
I
do
did?
anything?
I did. So on Xbox's network, you can just go into the console settings and change your location. That's how I was able to play it.
Oh.
Spoilerinos, you can't do it anymore because the game's already out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
um,
So wait, you have 10 hours on your PC, right? Not across all platforms then.
across all platforms, 10 hours. For this
Oh.
game, it specifically this game, 10
Yeah.
hours.
Okay. Gotcha. So back to the question. Do you have an idea where it's gonna fall? Where do you think it? Do you think?
Oh,
What are your impressions?
impressions so far have been good,
Yeah.
aside from the sweatiness that is of the SBMM system.
Right.
But impressions so far have been good. I've yet to form an opinion on the campaign
Mm-hmm.
because I really haven't played it all that much, but all I know is my favorite character of all time, Russell Adler, is finally back after 4 years of waiting
Yep.
after the events of Black Ops Cold War. I still love Cold War is still a good COD game. It's a decent COD. It's one of the best ones that we've had in the last 5 years, next to Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer.
Yep.
And for this multiplayer at least, I in my opinion, I think it's a little bit better than Cold Wars because they did actually make an attempt to innovate in an area that they believe will carry out throughout, the next future titles for Call of Duty.
Right.
So if Omni Movement, my guess is it will return sometime soon because I think the overall community feedback at the moment is a lot of people are accepting it. But you have this small group of people. I know I said earlier, like probably half and half of the community are for it and are opposed to it. But
Yeah.
I think
Interesting.
given that, I think given the time after people have gotten to play it a whole bunch more,
Yeah.
they'll be able to accept it and think, man, this is actually really nice because when I went from Black Ops 6 from the beta back to Modern Warfare 3, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I am not used to this anymore. This feels weird. It it
Yeah.
it, it was nice because it kind of felt a little bit different than the prior title. That's been a problem as of late for these newer COD games
Right.
is they feel so similar to each other. And part of that is because of the Call of Duty HQ system.
Yes. I was just about to ask
All
about that. Have they updated it at all?
they did. So I could take you out here to the main menu right now. So let's see. This is currently here. Let me switch over to my other scene real quick. This is the Call of Duty HQ main menu. They recently updated it last Monday, I believe, or this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And this is pretty much home for all of the future installments for the Call of Duty games moving forward. As you can see, it looks like something from a streaming service like Hulu,
Right.
and I it's a lot better. It's
Yeah.
a lot better than what it was before.
Yeah.
Last time it was awful.
Yeah. It looked kind of
But
difficult to navigate. Like I couldn't find anything last time. I wasn't sure what was going on. This looks a little bit better. Yeah.
it's a little bit more streamlined, so makes it a lot better to navigate and find your stuff.
Yeah.
So you have, Modern Warfare, Cold War, Vanguard, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Black Ops 6 now, Warzone, and these are all separate installs.
Yeah.
And they'll this is pretty much the main hub for Call of Duty at this point.
Interesting. So you think you prefer it probably then, right?
No,
No, you don't prefer it to the old one?
I prefer this style over the old one, but I thought you were talking about like how they launched the games because before they
Oh.
used to just be separate titles,
Ah.
like separate applications. This
Right.
is all on application now at this point.
Right. Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit more difficult it's frustrating.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Right. Yeah, and even on like Xbox, it's a little confusing to figure out everything because you have to go into the HQ and select which thing to download, and if you downloaded the wrong thing, you got to go into the options of the app and the what is it called? The Call of Duty HQ. You have to go in the options of there. It's just Call of Duty. That's like and then you have to click the ones to uninstall, and it's just a mess. I wish it
Yeah.
was separate games.
I know. I wish it was just a separate application that you just download and then boot up, nothing else. But the reason why they do this specifically
Yeah.
is because of Warzone. That's it. That is the
Oh,
only reason why this application exists. It's to streamline the process from transferring over items, gear, everything over to Warzone. Because if they all share the same exe file,
yeah,
then the process is a lot more simple and it's easier to track, data, camos, weapons, vehicles, all that stuff.
yeah. How
That's
big is
basically
how big is the game? Do you know?
on PC, I believe. Let's take a look. Let's see here. Modern Warfare 3 is 140 gigs, 122. By the looks of it, Cold War is only not Cold War, sorry. Black Ops 6 on PC, just on the surface value, it looks like it's just 66 gigabytes. Now, for the Call of Duty application, I believe it's 45. I might be wrong,
Mm,
but do the maths, about 110, 120 gigs.
yeah.
So,
Huh. Interesting. Well, I guess we'll have to play some of it tonight so that I can get a little taste because we played the beta a while back and that was fun. I actually think I did prefer that to X Defiant, probably.
yeah,
So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how the full release is. I'm definitely not one that would take advantage of the Omni movement. I'm used to Garden Warfare 2, and you can't even sprint in Garden Warfare 2. So
I
that's
prefer that style of gameplay too, where
yeah,
there's no sprinting at all. Everyone has an equal playing field. It pays homage to the old Halo titles, I would
sure,
say.
yeah, exactly,
So,
yeah,
no sprinting, none of that nonsense.
right. So I probably get dunked on, but I'm still kind of excited to see it. I have it downloaded on my Xbox, so I think we'll have to play that a little bit later. Uh,
Yeah.
any
I mean,
final
if
thoughts on COD?
uh only thing that I can think of is can I have your permission just to, have something going in the background at least.
Sure.
Actually, I have something better for us. I'm wondering if it's here. I wonder if it actually got
Oh, why don't you
shipped.
talk a little bit about the music real quick?
Oh, I would if I could, I would enable audio at the moment, but the music is just it's the best music since Black Ops 2, I would say.
Oh
You've
wow.
probably heard me over the microphone a couple of times just hum it.
Mm-hmm.
It's that good. The music is really good in this game.
That's
They
good.
completely knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
What's the guy's name? Jack Wall. I hope he got a raise because that dude. I applaud that man for his efforts to actually finally just have us listen to something nice.
My man cooked.
He did. He did cook. He cooked well. And if I could, I would look for I don't know where it's at, but I don't know where theater mode is at. I'm not seeing it. For some reason, I would just play theater mode in the background. That way, I'm wondering where it's at. Metal
Yeah, see,
collection,
this is the
combat.
problem with Call of Duty. You can't find anything.
I know. It's still kind of difficult to navigate. It's a lot better than what it was in the years prior, but I'm wondering
I
where theater
remember
mode is.
years back, I was watching you play the game, and you were going through all
There
the
it is.
menus so fast because you knew where everything was, and I was just like, "What is going on?" And so you found it. Aha.
Let's see. Let's get a good gameplay. Let's actually get a really good one. Let's not get a terrible one. We don't want one that.
So these are games that you've played and recorded, is that right?
Yeah, so record. Yeah, oh my gosh. As you can tell on the screen, there's a lot of small maps
Yeah.
that I've been playing on repetition. So let's see here.
So are you just gonna put on one of these in the background? Is that the plan?
Yeah, I think I'll do that instead of actually playing because it'll be a lot more difficult to talk than and play at the same time.
Yeah,
So
maybe just a little bit.
I'll let this play in the background.
Yeah.
That way everybody can enjoy. This was like last night or something when the
Right.
game first came out. So
That's
let me
cool.
see if I
See, this
let's get
afternoon
this.
I was looking for it and I wasn't even sure if it came out. And I didn't see anybody talking about it on YouTube, so that was kind of a surprise. It's you can see it's really fast-paced gameplay. Like if you're used to a slow game,
So I will say this. I'm gonna a little bit of spoilerinos for you, Logan.
yeah.
This is my reverse boosted lobby because I was getting so sick of how people were playing last night. It was bad, and I
What time
needed
would have
like
this been at? Would this have been
uh
at?
oh my gosh, probably like 11 p.m. something like that.
Oh wow.
Well, it was Friday night, so
Today is
but I'll let
Friday.
this I'll, I'll I'll let this play in the background and we could just keep chatting if you want. So
Yeah. Huh. I can't imagine that my KD ratio would be very good. Probably below zero point 0.5. I mean, I do okay in Garden Warfare 2. That's, I get like sometimes 3. I think I've had up to like 15 KD ratio or more
yeah,
because you can sit back and kill people as a cactus, but yeah, in a game
yeah.
like this is not possible at all. Look at that. Look at that feed right there.
And this is theater mode, by the way. So a
Ah,
little bit of it'll be a little bit iffy in some cases. For some reason, it's limiting the frame rate when I tab out.
yeah,
So
the
let
frame
me.
rate's going to be limited anyway.
It'll be limited to 30 FPS regardless. So,
Yeah.
but that's okay. It's fine. We're here for entertainment.
Look at this. Look at these pro moves over here. You want to walk us through kind of what your strategy is if you have one?
Well, the only strategy that I have is, for me at least, since I'm going for the mastery camos, my brain at the moment is telling me just get headshots. Just only do that. Go for headshots, nothing else.
Yeah.
And if you do that, it is a known fact. If you go for these mastery camo challenges, you will degrade your kill death ratio. You will. It's
Uh-huh.
eventually going to happen. And that's how it was for me for the last couple of installments for the franchise.
Right.
So everybody else, they're using whatever guns and attachments they want, and they're all having fun. Meanwhile, I'm over here suffering, just trying to get these mastery camos just to have something to show off for the next year, and that's it. Until the next game comes out. Because let me tell you, none of this is going to matter in a year. It's not. It just isn't. And I know that. But I do it for the grind, and that's it.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. So are you playing on KBAM when you're in this video, or are you playing on controller?
I'm playing on controller.
Oh
And
my
by
gosh.
the way, if you want, actually, let me let me do this real quick. That'll make it a lot easier. Switch over here. There we go. For the most part, what I'm doing is this is the controller that I've been using. So I got a Hall Effect Xbox controller off
Mm-hmm.
of Amazon for about 45 bucks. Really good. A lot better quality than the other one.
Yeah.
Um, this this is I switched from PlayStation over to Xbox because of the Microsoft acquisition of Activision, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been a bit of a learning curve trying to get used to the Xbox controller because I'm so used to playing on the PS5
Mm-hmm.
that I actually went back to the triggers instead of the bumpers. So, but in terms of thought process, at least for this game, like I mentioned before, I'm just going for headshots and that's it, just to get the mastery camos, and that's about it.
Yeah. Huh. I Do you have it on high sensitivity when you're playing?
My sensitivity is on like medium, so it's about 6.6 sensitivity. and that's about it.
Interesting.
And my curve type, my like aim response curve type, it's on a dynamic S curve type. So it's going to be a little bit more responsive to my movements instead of it being like linear.
Yeah,
So those fine little adjustments I have in my aim, that's because of the curve type, and that's it.
I can see you're taking pretty good advantage of the movement here. Does your controller have back pedals?
Yes, it does. I can
Do you
show you
use them?
right here. I do use them. I do.
It's
And
just
there's an
two?
application. Yeah, just two. And the PS5 DualSense controller also has two. It's not like my Scuff controller where it has four, but
Yeah,
realistically, you only need two. You don't even need four.
yeah,
What are you going to do with all four?
right.
I mean, you can use all four if you want, but I just use the way that I hold my controller. I hold it like this, and my middle fingers do all like the jumping and the reloading, and that's
Mm-hmm.
about it.
Okay, so you have them bound to jump and reload.
Yeah.
Cool.
And there's an application called oh my goodness, what's it called? It's the controller brand that I bought, and I don't remember. But
GameSir?
anyways, Gamester, thank you. There's a application that you can open, and you can set up a profile, update the controller's firmware, modify the dead zones and everything from there. Pretty much all I did was I just changed the dead zone. I just left it at default,
Yeah.
and I just wanted to make sure it was up and running, and then transferred over to Call of Duty. Really nothing. No issues whatsoever.
Cool.
But to give people an idea of what this type of game is like exactly, it's pretty much Black Ops Cold War, but it has that like modern warfare engine feel to it. It just utilizes a more advanced engine of the IW8 engine from Modern Warfare 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously, as you can see on the gameplay here, a lot more in terms of graphic fidelity. It's been in the best it's ever been in the entire franchise. So graphics have never
Yeah.
been better before. I know a lot of people like to say Modern Warfare 19 has the best graphics and movement and game feel atmosphere in the entire series, but I'm sorry, but you guys are on copium. You guys got to let go. It's not the best. It really isn't. Modern Warfare 19, I could go on a rant, but is pretty much the best that we've got in terms of like modern Call of Duty at this point.
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
and I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I know for my mom, she's going to be watching this, and my girlfriend, who's also going to be watching this, they're going to say, yeah, that's complete lies because he rants and he screams and then he yells and he does this and that. And that is true. It is true. I do that. But it's just that's how men operate in a sense, in a man childish way on these types of games because they want to do well and they care about their egos and they know that they're better than most of these players that you see on the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my excuse. It's a horrible excuse. I get it. It's a man baby type of personality. You don't ever want that. Trust me, it doesn't look good in the real world, but
Ah, that was pretty close right there.
I know.
So, do you think so the thing is this is coming to Game Pass day 1, right? So,
Yes.
there's a lot of speculation that there are going to be a lot of new players that have never played COD before playing this game.
Hmm.
Um, do you think this is an okay entry point for new players, or do you think it's kind
Uh,
of something that would alienate people?
so what perspective do we want to look at this from? We could either look at this from a casual gamer's perspective or someone who would like to get into Call of Duty and really want to just like put their heart and soul into it, like get really good at the game or at least try to.
I would
What perspective?
say I would say probably start with the casual one, and then we can talk about the kind of wanting to get into COD later.
Okay. So, given the fact that it's now on Game Pass, the entry point is pretty much almost non-existent, I
Right.
would say. It's ease of access. Anybody could do it if they subscribe to Game Pass, just to give the game a tryout,
Yeah.
just to try it out and see exactly what it's like. Um, for the game ended and we somehow lost.
Ah, lost by 6
Anywho,
points.
anywho, um, for in terms of the entry point to the franchise, I would say there is no better time to get into Call of Duty. There is no better time.
Cool.
I
All right.
mean, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, go for it. I would do it. I would just check it out, just see what it's like. Is it gonna is it the second coming of Jesus Christ? No, unfortunately. But is it going to bring your family back together? No. But it is an overall okay game with a good experience from campaign, multiplayer, and zombies, I would say. It has launched with a good chunk of content. From what I've heard, the campaign is about 7 to 8 hours long, which is a massive improvement compared to last year's title with Modern Warfare 3, which was like a measly 2.5 hours
Oh
long.
wow. Yeah, that is a big difference.
Yeah. And in terms of, let's get another gameplay going in the background while we chat. In terms of like I well, if you're a casual, of course, I think this is a good entry point because I mean, like I mentioned earlier with the skill-based matchmaking, if you kind of suck at it and you know you suck at it, chances are you're going to be pretty much in lobbies that are going to, be at your level, of course.
Right.
But thing is, that comes at the cost of, are you even aware that you're bad at the game? Are you even aware that, your experience is completely different than somebody else's experience? So that is, I mean, probably one of the biggest, I guess you could say, I don't know, flags for me, I guess, if you're going to be a casual. A lot of casual gamers are going to want a variety of different games.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're, I mean, I'm almost certain SBMM is like through the roof on this game. Of course, it's ramped up, but I'm just rambling at this point. But the entry point, I would say it's good. It's good for a casual person because you get a really good long campaign, you get two zombies maps, and you also get a decent multiplayer. I would say you got a lot of stuff to do. You really do. It's worth it.
Where do you think you would recommend casual gamers that want to try this game for the first time start? Multiplayer or campaign?
If anything, I would recommend the campaign.
Yeah.
Do the campaign first. That way, you have an understanding of the universe and what story is being told. That way, when you go into the multiplayer, you understand exactly what the time period is, what context is within the multiplayer. It's a lot better. For one Call of Duty that I can think of in particular, Call of Duty Black Ops 4,
Mm-hmm.
it didn't have a campaign.
Yeah.
And when we played the multiplayer, there was really no reason to care about the universe. Whereas for this, you can care about the universe. You can care about this world. You feel emotionally connected to it because you played the story. Granted, I didn't play the story, but I already know I'm going to be invested in it regardless
Yeah.
because I played Black Ops Cold War.
Mm-hmm.
But I would start out with the campaign first. Play the campaign first, and after you're done with that, I would hop straight into multiplayer and just experiment. Try to have fun. Do not use, for goodness sakes, and I cannot emphasize this enough because I've seen it every single game. I'm going to go on a rant again, but do not, and whatever you do not use one gun for the rest of the multiplayer. Do not. You're like ruining the experience for yourself and for other people. Branch out and use different weapons. Just do it. Stop. I get it. A lot of people just like to stick to one thing, and that's okay. But if you're going to run around with the Jackal PDW, which is this gun right here on the screen, let me tab over. If you're going to stick to this weapon right here, I don't know what it's doing at the moment. It's being weird, but I don't know what's up with the game at the moment.
Oh yeah,
Let's see.
speaking of which, I'm wondering if you've found any bugs yet.
This bug seems new, a little bit new, where the menus are struggling to load. But anywho, um, just don't use this gun every single lobby. If you pick a different weapon, just use a variety of weapons. Like, or do what I'm doing. If you want to get a good variety of weapons, do the mastery challenges, do the mastery camo grind. It'll be worth it in the end. It'll feel so rewarding when you get this camo. It
Mm-hmm.
will. And Logan, I'm just gonna say this: you're gonna see a text message from me on like in mid-December before Christmas,
Yep.
seeing me get this because it happens every single time.
Yep. Of course.
Like I got it. I know you don't care, but I got it. So
uh, does it feel like they've released a complete game? That's what I want to know. Does it feel like, because in the last few years, we've had stuff like Cyberpunk where it releases and it's a disaster, and then they fix it slowly over time. Is it like that, or is it feel like they did it right? Like they released a game that's the way it's supposed to be?
so this game has had 4 years of development.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first Call of Duty that has had 4 years worth of development. And let me tell you, Activision's got to start having the devs do 4 years worth of development instead of three, because three is just not good enough anymore. We
Yeah.
need four. 4 years will help the developers run internal testing and ensuring that they're. You want a game, of course, that's in a bug free state.
Sure. Yeah. Of
Last
course.
few titles haven't been so great, I would say, in terms of how they've launched. It's usually a disaster. This is like the first time in 4 years, actually probably six even since Black Ops 4,
Yeah.
where Treyarch has had the time to finally make something good. And I believe that they have done that based off of my first impressions.
Good.
And even if I dislike this game, even if I do, even if it could be the worst Call of Duty game ever, I could hate it to death, but I'm still going to play regardless because that's my love hate relationship. Because what else am I supposed to play?
Yep.
I like first person shooters. Okay, I could go play X Defiant if I want,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, I could and I probably should, but I I got a mastery camo to get. So,
There's also a lot of speculation about, it's a big thing for Xbox to acquire Activision Blizzard, right?
yeah,
They own this franchise now, and there's been a lot of speculation about this game swinging things a lot in Xbox's favor because it's one of the most popular games out there.
it's one of the most profitable. It's usually the number one best-selling game of the year until Rockstar Games puts something out.
Right. So, do you think that this is going to turn the tide at all? Do you think it's going to give Xbox some extra business? Do you think it's going to give them a little push toward PlayStation's numbers, or do you think it's just going to be a whatever? Some people buy it on here, some people buy it on there, that sort of thing.
So, hardcore gamers, like the hardcore Call of Duty fans, they're mostly going to, I would say, be playing on PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
Because PlayStation, I guess you could say, is more accustomed to, people who are dedicated gamers who do play these types of games almost every single day. Um, I would say for the most part, at least, I don't know if it's going to sway people over to buy an Xbox to play Call of Duty Black Ops 6. It kind of did for me because you're on Xbox
Right.
and I am getting kind of tired of Sony just constantly upcharging their subscription service every single year
Yeah.
at this point because it went from $60 to $80 for the core subscription. Whereas on Xbox, of course, I believe we talked about this on
Yeah.
on last week's episode.
Yeah. Still $60 on Xbox.
Still $60, but cheaper entry point. So
Sure.
it's going to be a little bit more appealing to the casuals, at least I would say.
Right.
Instead of dropping $700 on a PS5 Pro.
Yep.
So
Well, and then there's the other thing, like, Game Pass is still kind of unproven, right? Um, they don't People don't necessarily know if it's profitable, if it's capable of being profitable. That's still like up in the air. But one thing that's happening is this game is going to be playable on Fire TV sticks. You know what I mean?
Is it?
Yes. Some of the newest Fire TV sticks are Game Pass capable. So you can just fire up your Game Pass games and play COD on your Fire TV stick. I don't know how well that's going to go. Like, the latency might be an issue, but
That's my biggest concern is the latency.
I mean, people that have Fire TV sticks, are they really going to be competitive gamers?
No,
No, I don't think
absolutely
so.
not. No.
So I think like regular people who don't mind paying, what is it, like $20 a month for some games, um they might try this and they might, just pay up the subscription and casually play COD on their TV stick. That I think that might be a thing that happens.
You know what it reminds me of? It does remind me a little bit. I see the parallels between that and the Google Stadia, and we all
Yeah,
know how that went. That was
right.
bad. That
Yeah.
was awful.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but Google is not necessarily known for nursing their side projects, right? So
Yeah.
they kill stuff off all the time. And it seems like, basically Xbox hasn't really been a profitable company up until like 4 years ago, um, where they started charging more for stuff. I guess I don't know. I don't know. But it hasn't really been a profitable company, and Microsoft hasn't killed it off. So my thinking is that they're probably going to keep this cloud gaming trend going. And I imagine it's going to bring a lot more people over to their platform, even if they're not playing on Microsoft hardware, right? So
Yeah.
whether it's a TV stick or it's a PC or it's an Xbox, whether it's a Series S or a Series X, I'm sure that this game and the strategy that they have of putting it on every platform, um, I'm sure that it's going to bring some more people over to Xbox, um, which is, I think, kind of interesting. Um, I don't know.
So,
Do we have sales
according
numbers yet?
according to IGN, so this is another thing too, Logan, that I would like to bring up. Xbox at this point has the mentality where they don't really care about the games, they care about Game Pass subscriptions, I would
Right.
say.
Yeah.
That's their new philosophy. So
100%.
if they can get people buying Game Pass subscriptions, then that's a win for them. By the looks of it, if we turn our heads towards this right here, according to IGN 16 hours ago, it could. Okay, no, I don't want to see that. I
Beautiful
don't want to
ads.
see that. Oh my gosh. Anyways, um, it could boost Game Pass up to 4 million subscribers, but at the cost of 6 million lost sales.
That's bonkers.
So
It's a weird strategy,
it
and
is.
nobody knows how it's going to go.
I think if anything, if Microsoft really, I really think they, I don't know, I think they kind of made a mistake when it came to this because I get it. You don't want to spend so much money on a Call of Duty title because now it's $70 a year.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just get Game Pass and that way I just can pay for it pretty much every single month. That way I don't really have to,
Well, I mean,
drop
$70 a year
$70.
versus $100 a year.
I know.
Or no, 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 no. It's $50 for 3 months. So 4 times 50, that's $200 a year. So maybe it actually makes sense. Like if you played COD for a year just with Game Pass, just to play COD, you're paying $200 for a $70 game.
Yeah. What I would say is they probably shouldn't have said anything about Black Ops coming to Game Pass. like they shouldn't have put it on Game Pass, I would say, just to see exactly what the sales figures were at. I don't know.
You think maybe they should have put it on Game
With
Pass later?
yeah, that's what I think. I think it would have been better if they did that.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a thing. I mean, that people have proven time and time again that they are willing to pay extra money to get access to games early, right? So, um,
Well, we don't even know exactly, at least based off of what I've searched, we don't even know how many copies the game has sold.
yeah,
We don't,
right.
because we can only refer to Game Pass subscriptions.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I imagine
is,
that the number of subscriptions has skyrocketed, and
is
they
it a financial
automat.
success or is it a flop?
I don't
You
know.
know?
Yeah, it's confusing. I mean, we all know that Xbox was the pioneer of live service, right? So, um, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they had really thought this through and it turned out to work, right? Because they started a long time ago. Doesn't the original Xbox have live service?
Yes,
I
it had
think it
Xbox
did.
Live. It did it. It had online multiplayer. It was an online multiplayer subscription.
Right.
And you want to know what sold that? You want to know what got people to buying Xbox Live?
Halo.
Take a guess. Yes, Halo 2.
Yep.
It, Halo 2 was the main reason why everybody bought Xbox Live. That
Yeah.
was the main reason. It was selling Xbox Live subscriptions
Right.
because people wanted to play online with other people because
And you
that
played
was a
with your friends because you had the thing
that was
over
a
your ear and the microphone.
that was a crazy thing at the time. That
Yeah.
was just un like people didn't think they could do that just with the press of a button
Yeah.
where I want to go find a game, I want to, play online with other people.
Right. Exactly. So I don't know. It's kind of an interesting strategy on Xbox's part. I'm not sure which way it'll go. I'm almost certain that it has significantly boosted subscriptions to Game Pass, at least for a couple months. And they also automatically have, like, when you buy a Game Pass subscription, it turns on auto renewal. Um, and I assume there are going to be a lot of people who, or maybe parents, they buy Game Pass subscriptions for their kids so that their kids can play these games because it seems like $20 a month is a good deal for a game, right?
I want to
And they're
play
just gonna
newer
forget
Call
about
of
it.
Duty.
Yeah, right. And
They will.
that's happened,
You're not
right?
wrong.
My parents are still paying for Game Pass Core, and they were still paying for PlayStation Network up until I told them, hey, you should probably like stop paying for these things because we're not using it. So I imagine, and that was going on for, gosh, I don't know, a decade. They were paying for this stuff, so I mean, I think that's going to happen a lot. I think there are going to be a lot of people who buy the subscription and forget about it, and they'll probably get some good use out of it. But over a decade, Xbox is going to be making a lot of money off of these people, right?
Yeah.
So it could be a good strategy. I'm just saying we shouldn't immediately write off their strategy with Game Pass, but yeah, it is important to be skeptical because it's so out of the ordinary.
I know, especially for Call of Duty because they just dropped $70 billion on with the B. Phil Swift dropped 70 billion as if he was buying his 16-year-old son a car. We can only This is the first Call of Duty that has no exclusivity whatsoever associated with PlayStation or any of
Right.
the other platforms.
Ah.
So everybody got to play the beta if you
Mm-hmm.
pre-ordered at the exact same time if you
Or if you
pre-ordered
had Game Pass.
or if you had Game Pass. So
Game Pass seems like pretty solid to me.
it's a good deal. It's a good way of, okay,
Especially if
I'm
you
not
want to try games, right?
trying games. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Giving a game a try,
Try before you
especially.
buy. And you just pay for a short period of time, try games out, and you can try anything and then, you know, stick with the
Or
ones
you
that you
could
want.
or you could be like me. If buying isn't owning, pirating isn't stealing.
Of course. Of course. Oh my gosh.
That reminded me of what we were talking about earlier of this clip in terms of Xbox Live.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Wow. I
I don't know if you can hear the audio, but
My clan is a
turned it
group
on
of
now.
guys that form a team, and we may practice, we may join one of these matchmaking playlists.
It's hard to play with people that are lower skill level than you, even if you really like them, because you're probably going to lose more often, and you're not going to have as much fun. If I play with Chris, the two of us are ranked together as a team, and if he's not as good as me, then that's going to take down your rank. The point is, Chris sucks.
Oh my god!
Oh, I died.
Oh my
so what's
gosh.
crazy, that ties back to the skill-based matchmaking. So Halo 2 solved this all the way back in 2004 with ranked play. So there was ranked play, and then there was also two other forms of matchmaking. Find a match as fast as you can, regardless of skill level, or find a match that was similar to my skill.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was it's perfect. I don't know why Call of Duty can't do this. This is the like perfect way of handling it.
Yeah.
And they have considered it before, according to the papers that they had from one of their blog posts, but they said, we don't want to fracture the player base. Your player base is already fractured. It already is. Because you got two different groups of people playing a different game.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, yeah.
All right.
But I just thought I would bring that up. There was
Yeah.
another there was another clip. I don't remember what it was, but it was in regards to the Xbox Live thing. For some reason, it wasn't from this. I don't know why, but anyways,
Yeah. Well, uh, we're a ways in now.
we are. We're about an
Oh my
hour in.
gosh. Holy moly.
I know.
Okay,
Time flies when your life's falling apart.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on? I mean, it was good. That was good. I like that a lot.
No, I think it was necessary to talk because
Yeah.
the launch of Black Ops 6, I mean, say what you will, but according to the YouTube metrics, this is like one of the biggest titles that was coming out this year.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
what was it? Like 60 plus million views or something like that. I don't know.
Right.
Let's take a look real
I
quick.
think I
Let's
think
see.
several companies delayed games because they knew this one was coming out and they didn't want to release them at the same time because they didn't want
I think
Call of Duty to get all of the business and them to get none.
yeah, but watch, Call of Duty's gonna heavily delay their game because of Grand Theft Auto. I already
Oh,
know
yeah.
that next year. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah. GTA is gonna. Do you think GTA is gonna be bigger than this?
oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. When you here, let me pull up the metrics real quick.
GTA 5 is still one of the most popular games played, right? And it's like a
So
decade old.
here's the thing. So at this point, I would consider Rockstar Games to have created two different games based off of that single player game. GTA 5 is the story mode.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you get the story content. So that came out all the way back in 2013.
Yeah.
What shipped alongside of it was Grand Theft Auto Online.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Theft Auto Online is, of course, their online multiplayer.
Right.
So there's going to be like ranking, there's going to be a leveling system, you can buy cars, you can, of course, do your typical heists. You can also rob banks, you can buy cars like I mentioned before. You can there's more to that game, I would say.
Yeah.
Based off of the gameplay that I've seen, there's more to it than, what I guess you could argue the media says in regards to that game. Is it made for kids? Absolutely not. No, without a debate. It's not made for children. It was never made for children. It's rated M for a reason.
Yeah.
It's meant for mature audiences. And of course, the reason why the game is so popular, why specifically even the online mode is so popular
Yeah.
is because it allows people to experience different cultural taboos. That's part of it.
Mm.
And there's more to it than, what the media says regards to, strippers, hookers. You get the idea. I don't want to mention it, but in terms of the multiplayer experience, from what I've seen, there's some really cool stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a diamond casino heist where you go into like the vaults of a casino and you like
Yeah.
loot like golden bricks, and those are heavy in real life, of course, but I mean, it's a video game, so
Yeah.
putting them in a duffel bag and running off with them may seem a little bit unlikely, but
Yeah.
um you can rob diamond rings from that place. Really cool stuff, I will say. It really plays out that whole um what movie was it? I've heard about it and I was curious about watching it, but at the same time I'm like, it's not worth it. There was a movie called Heat, I think it came out in like the 90s, I think.
Oh yeah.
I don't
I
I
don't
don't
think I've ever
remember.
heard of it, but
It's a popular action movie, I would say.
mm.
It's a really popular action movie. Now, I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm not really going to watch it because I'm going to be honest with you. Uh Robbery type video games are really not my thing, I would say.
Yeah.
So, it's not appealing to me, but what is
Right.
appealing to me for specifically the Grand Theft Auto Online community is there's a lot of stuff within that game. You can do a triathlon, do a um you can do boat races, you can race your cars,
Yeah. So there's a lot to do.
you can make custom games, a lot of stuff. And specifically the role play community, it's massive on
Mm.
Twitch. It's like 150 to 200,000 users a day.
Oh wow.
So the role playing community is another thing.
Yeah.
Um that's the reason why it's so popular is because there's a lot to do in that game. There's a lot. You can do pretty much anything in that game. You could fly planes into buildings if you really wanted to for some reason. I don't know why you would, but um, you can, have your own like business empire, of course, and it doesn't have to be, you can if you really wanted to. Apparently, it doesn't make the most money from what I've heard. You could do drug cartels, that
Yeah.
type of thing. You
Of
can,
course.
there is one really cool, from what I've heard, there's a solo heist that you can do to make a lot of money. You go to I think it was called the Cayo Perico heist.
Mm-hmm.
You take a plane to an island and you just rob the owner of the island. And if anything, this came out here. I'll
How
pull it
old
up.
is GTA 5? Yeah, that's what we want to know.
Over 10 years.
Over 10
Over
years?
10 years. Sorry, I got us way off topic,
No, you're good.
um, but the Cayo Perico heist, I believe, came out in like 2020 or
Oh,
something.
wow. Wow. I didn't realize they were updating the game still at all.
Oh yeah, no, they're still updating the game, the online mode specifically, not the campaign. The
Wow.
campaign came out in 2013, and that's about it. From
Oh
what I
my
heard,
gosh.
it was a good story. A
Uh-huh.
lot of people said that the previous installment, GTA 4, which took place in Liberty City,
Uh-huh.
which is, the fictionalized version of New York City. From what I heard, that story was a lot more gritty and it had a lot better like story
Mm-hmm.
going towards it. Whereas this one takes place in Hollywood or the fictional world of Vinewood.
Ah,
So
I gotcha.
thing is, for this specifically, for the Cayo Perico heist, this I believe came out at around the same time with all of the Epstein stuff.
Oh.
So
Oh.
yeah.
Oh.
So
Oh
you
my
can
gosh.
probably there was a little bit of, if I'm not mistaken, there was a little bit of controversy around this when it got released.
Yeah.
So,
That's
but
crazy. Wow.
um it's a private island. I mean, say what you will, but there's a whole community surrounding, the Grand Theft Auto series, and
Yeah.
r- arguably GTA is a much bigger franchise and is a lot more profitable than Call of Duty. That's whenever GTA and Call of Duty go up against each other, GTA will always come out on top. And even for Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead 2, even, it was the number one best selling game of the year.
Wow.
It was, and it's going to be that next year as well. So whatever, I don't even know what apparently the rumors for Call of Duty 2025 is it's going to be another Black Ops game, and it's going to take place after the events of Black Ops 2
Oh.
because,
Hmm.
Black Ops 2 takes place in 2025,
Yeah.
next year is 2025. Makes sense, but
That's interesting.
it's going to get destroyed easily.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Wouldn't surprise me.
So, anywho,
Yeah.
I'll stop getting us sidetracked.
Very cool. Well, if you want to take a look at my stream, I've got the first thing I wanted to talk about today.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. That was interesting stuff. I actually, I don't think I've ever really gone into a video game explanation like that. A deep dive. It's even with games that I've played, it's always, it's kind of superficial stuff, but that was cool. I like that. So yes, this is my first thing that I have here.
Yeah, let's check this out. I was curious about this.
I don't want to play the whole video for you because I don't think that's right, but I thought it was interesting. I think what I'll do is I'll explain it to you more than show it to you.
Yeah.
This is you can see.
This wire can be cut and was, for a time...
He's talking about the brain, and the human brain specifically. And there was a treatment for epilepsy. This is just a video I watched this last week.
Yeah.
There was a treatment for epilepsy, and this is an 8-year-old video too, that they cut the brain in half, and they severed the wire between the two halves of the brain, right? And they did some studies on these people because some weird things were kind of happening. There's kind of some weird side effects of doing this process. The right side of the brain, the explanation was that it cannot talk. Like the right side of your brain has no speech of any kind, no speech capability. But the left side of the brain does. This is the picture that he has. It's kind of cool. And they were finding that the right side of the brain controls the left hand, and the left side of the brain controls the right hand. And sometimes these people's left hands would go off and do other stuff. They would there was one guy that was trying to button up his shirt, and with his right hand, controlled by the left side of his brain, he was buttoning up his shirt, and then his left hand comes along and unbuttons the shirt. Unwillingly. So I thought it was interesting because it's like, the concept of who we are is always something that's kind of difficult to understand.
Maybe that's why aliens haven't come and see us yet.
Yeah.
We are complicated human beings. I will say that.
Yeah.
We are.
This is so complicated. And the brain, it's impossible for us to grasp because it's so many little neurons doing jobs. Right.
Firing, misfiring.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's almost like there are two of you in here. That's why this video is called You Are Two. And your right brain, it doesn't talk. It handles mostly creative computational stuff, and the left brain handles all of the talking and the rationalizing and that sort of thing. It's more logical, computational. And I thought it was so cool that these people who have had their brain severed, the connection between the halves severed, that it comes out that there are kind of like two people in there, right? It's just It was just really interesting to me. Have you learned about anything like this in psychology?
So the only thing that I've learned in regards to this from psychology specifically is, man, I'm going to be embarrassed for this because I'm going for an associate's in psychology, but the only thing I remember about this is if he cut the brain in half, there was a person that reported that they had a splitting headache, and that's about it.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I would have a headache if I had my brain cut in half.
Well, I mean, let me check. Yeah, they were performing tests in regards to like the peripheral vision. So if you covered one side of your face, you wouldn't be able to like fully see like
Yeah,
within your field of view
right.
another certain part of, the image
Mm-hmm.
that your brain needs to process.
Right.
From what I know, at least, as you know, I would like to say that a lot of this does. This is going to sound off-putting or out of the blue, but a lot of this does have to do, I guess you could say, with the speed of light. I would say because the speed of light is actually it's been reported, of course, it's a lot faster than our brains and our eyes processing the image that we see in front of us.
Yeah, 100%.
So everything that we see pretty much is a delay from the speed
Right.
of light. And
Yeah.
I mean, I now that I say that out loud, it sounds like a no-brainer, but I found that out recently and I thought that was pretty cool just to put things into perspective as to how fast the speed of light is.
Right.
So, I
Everything we're witnessing or everything that we're comprehending is set like it's a ways behind what actually happened, right?
yeah, I don't know. When I seen that video that you just showed, that's what it kind of reminded me of. It
Right.
that the splitting headache and then also processing information a certain way and putting that into perspective with the speed of light. And
Mhm.
I don't know. It's the more that I say it, it's really not related to it, I
No,
guess you
no.
could say.
That was
But
interesting.
let me
I
see.
mean, it kind of brings up the question like are we even living in the present? I mean, I guess we are, but we're
We are.
experiencing it later than
We
now. That's so trippy. Whenever you get into stuff like this, it gets super weird.
You
Um,
get into the matrix, I would say.
right, yeah. And one thing about this video though that I thought was interesting was it's almost like the right brain is a slave to your left brain, like it's just along for the ride. And when you
I guess you could say it's the other way if you're left-handed. So,
yeah, right. And when you cut the tie, it's almost like the right brain is able to do its own thing. And when I watched this video, there was one part where um, they were talking about what was it that they said? Oh yeah, they showed an image to the person's left eye, I think it was, because that's controlled by the right side, and not the right eye. And they had the person pick up the object with their left hand. This was one that had the treatment, and so they picked it up, and they were holding it, and they were like, "Yeah, I've got this." And but they're the subconscious part of their brain, like the left side of the brain, had no idea that they were holding the thing. And then they put they revealed the blinder or whatever, the eye patch or whatever they had, and they asked the person, "Why are you holding this thing?" And the left side of the brain would rationalize it no matter what, and their answers would always be wrong. Right? So I thought that was
that's what
really cool.
that's what I meant to say. That's what it reminded me of specifically
Yeah.
was that in particular.
Or they'll show a person an image and they'll say, "Okay, choose between these things." And the person will choose the thing that they saw with the right side of their brain. And they'll ask them, "Why did you pick that specific thing?" And they'll make up some fake story about why they picked that thing. So it's so strange that this happens at a subconscious level. And then I watched a video and it's like, oh, the brain is actually like several different parts, and each kind of each kind of has its own level of consciousness, and that all comes to the front where it figures out and interprets everything that's being sent around there, and then there you go. There's your consciousness. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool video.
That is pretty cool.
If you have not watched this video, it's by CGP Grey. I definitely recommend it because it's really cool and it's trippy, and I think you can learn something about your brain, which is kind of one of the most confusing organs in the body. And it's always interesting to learn more about ourselves, especially when it's something like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So don't do neuroscience.
yeah, if you do neuroscience, your brain's gonna blow up.
But figuratively and literally.
The other
Mountain Dew.
thing I wanted to show was this. This is cool. This is
Yeah, let's check this out.
this
What
is
is
a
this?
truck. This is Jerry Rig Everything's
Yeah, and Jerry Rig.
So this is an International Scout, and
The International
it's a really
Scout
old.
was made by a tractor company back in
Yeah.
1960. Called the
1960.
International Harvester, the Scout was made to compete with the Jeep and performed really well, selling over 500,000 vehicles. And now they're coming back as all-electric vehicles with an...
Okay, normally I would think that's really lame. Now they're coming back with all electric vehicles. Oh, lame. I want a gas powered Scout. That's awesome.
I know, but you got to take into account, where are these being manufactured? Are they being
In the
manufactured?
U.S. of A, baby.
Well, I mean, okay, California, because
I don't know.
California has those bans on that now.
Probably like Michigan or something.
Texas.
I'm not sure. Either way, they're being backed by Volkswagen, which is cool. They look really cool, but the thing
They are
I
nice,
think
yeah.
the thing I think that's really nice about them is, well, first of all, they have an SUV and a truck, and they both look really good. But the thing I think that's really cool about them is you can get a gas generator for them. Isn't that awesome? And the gas generator just like charges the battery. So if you got stranded, you just turn on the gas generator, and there you go.
That's so counterintuitive, though.
Right. But it's
That's-
still going to get way better mileage than anything else.
That's so pointless.
They said
no?
they said it brings the range. It's like a hybrid, basically. They said it brings the range from like 350 to 500 miles. Right? So that's a pretty big difference. And for like, people aren't as opposed to hybrids as they are to electric cars. I mean, obviously these aren't going to be like full-on hybrid, normal, regular hybrid car, but I think it's cool that you can get a gas-powered generator to add on to them.
I just think it's counterintuitive.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
It
just
is a
me,
little
but-
strange, but and especially like an old brand like International, and it's just weird. But I think this could be cool, and I think they said 2027 was the date they're aiming for to release these things. So could be kind of
We got a few years. We got 3 years.
Yeah.
My gosh, 2027. Good grief.
Yeah, that's kind of a ways away. We have 3 years until that
There's
date.
gonna be
Flying
gonna be
cars by then.
2 more Call of Duties. Gosh,
But what do you think about the design? Let's see if I can get a good picture.
looks like a Ford Bronco.
It kind of does.
Reminds me of it. But
Yeah.
the Ford Bronco also looks like that other car too. There was another car that also came out. It was like a Ranger or something. I forgot what it was called.
Maverick?
Was that what it was?
That's
'Cause it
it's
looked
the truck. Ford Maverick is the
Maverick.
little truck.
No, it was a different car brand.
I think it's pretty stylish, and I think if they can make it better than today's electric cars, it'll be good to have. Oh, and
Yeah.
the other thing is, they are NACS charging standard, which means they're fully compatible with the Tesla Supercharging Network, which is the biggest charging network in the U.S. So that's big.
Oh, that's nice. That's convenient.
Yeah.
Here, if it's okay, I'm gonna go close my window real quick because I'm
Sure.
getting bit up by mosquitoes apparently.
Okay.
I don't know why. They're all over my hands,
Oh
and
my gosh.
it's unpleasant. I don't know if you
Yes.
can see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not good.
I'll
Go
be
ahead
right
and do
back.
that. So, recently my wife left me. I had 3 kids, and I definitely. Oh, he's back. Here we go. Um, definitely didn't steal a joke that you made. Um,
Oh, well, now I'm gonna have to watch. How far are we into this podcast? Let me see. Okay, I'll be sure to make a note at 1:20. Okay.
oh my gosh. This was the third thing that I wanted to talk about before we get into politics, because this is, I mean, I guess this is kind of like bridging the gap between where we would draw the line. Um, if you're really touchy about politics, you can leave, but this is not. This conversation about this specific one is not going to be too bad. This was really cool. This is what I basically have been waiting to see from AI. I should actually show you guys. I have you watched this?
I did watch it.
I thought it was super cool. Like
I
this.
thought it,
Yeah, go ahead. Go
yeah.
ahead.
No. I agree with you. It was interesting.
So this is what if AI debated abortion, and I'll just play the intro to the video.
We've
so you can get
configured
an
advanced
idea.
AIs into medical and bioethical experts.
I'm a pro-choice obstetrician gynecologist.
And I'm a pro-life neonatologist.
Then we gave them a debate forum and added 15 different AI models to judge each response. No human emotions here, just solid arguments. Stick around to see who wins, but don't cheat yourself by skipping ahead. We start by asking, how should we understand the beginning of human life, and at what point should it be protected?
Okay. So they have 2 AI models. One is trained to argue for abortion, and one is trained to argue against abortion. And I think this is the future. AI is going to battle out these moral arguments for us. Because the especially, like, even in this video, it was super impressive the amount of accuracy and nuance that these models can produce is insane. This doesn't seem like hype to me. This just seems like plain solid AI arguments, right?
Well, quick question. So on the surface level, I get it that you mentioned that they trained these AI specifically to follow one perspective over another,
Mm-hmm.
but what about before that? What was their what was their original arguments? Was there an unbiased perspective beforehand? If
I strongly doubt it.
okay.
When you
I
ask like ChatGPT questions about abortion, usually it'll get kind of cagey, right? It doesn't like to talk about that stuff.
mhm.
So I've done a little bit of research and that sort of thing, and there are ways that you can get around that sort of thing. So it will argue for a specific perspective. Like you ask the AI to role play, and
Mhm.
it'll simulate a perspective, someone that is taking that perspective, right?
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That
that's
makes a lot of
basically what's
sense.
happening here.
I see.
But it's really cool because they can make basically these are the best arguments for either side of abortion that I've ever heard, right? And in this context, obviously people have made these arguments, and that's what the AI is drawing on. But the way that they're able to respond to each other is really impressive, and they can, like, one will say something about some really specific case or something, and the other one will go, oh yeah, I know about that, here's what I have to say about it. If it was just 2 humans debating, one would say that and the other one would be like, I have no idea what you're talking about, I've never heard of that, right?
And therefore they lose the argument.
Yes, exactly. So it's kind of unfair when you have 2 different bases for the
You can
the
only
building of
you,
your perspective, right?
You can only be prepared so much.
Right.
You know, you can only have so much knowledge about a certain topic.
Right.
You will eventually run out.
Right.
It's inevitable.
And it's
The ones
impossible
that
for the foundations of your worldview and your perspectives to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
So this just completely tears down that barrier there.
Now, quick question. What would you say? Is this more of a logical approach or more of an emotional approach?
It is 100% logical.
Well, I
There's-
guess that makes sense. 'Cause
There's
it's
no
AI.
there's I mean, obviously they bring up conflictions in morality, right? They weigh certain things over others, and obviously there's a little bit of I don't know. It's like a deep rooted emotion for that's in support of humanity, right? So I guess you could say that it's kind of based on that. Like, morality is kind of emotional in and of itself. But other than that, their arguments do not get emotional, especially not like a human would be, right? When you have two guys or whatever debating, they are prone to getting emotional about it because that's just how it is. This is basically devoid of all of that, and they really get down to exactly what the talking points are, and they don't stray away. There's no off-topic anything in this conversation. It's just boom, 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 right? So I thought that was really impressive about this, and I think, like, in the future, and here's the other thing. They didn't just have these two debating. They also had a panel of judges that were different AI models, right? So Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, etc. They had all of these judging the two arguments from both sides. And they gave a score to each side, and that helped determine which argument was better in the end. So I think this is going to be how things are going forward. We're going to have AI bring up all the talking points and the best talking points only. And they'll be able to respond to each other and work things out. And then we'll have the panel of judges give us which one was the best in the end. I think that's so cool. And I mean, it could be a really good path forward. I mean, I could see a lot of problems with it. Like, AI still has bias, obviously, because humans are biased. So that could be a problem. But yeah, I was super impressed by this, and I've never seen a better debate. This debate makes the Jubilee thing that we're going to talk about seem like a mess, because this was just it was as respectful as can be. Obviously there's no ill will between things that can't feel anything. So yeah, I was super happy to watch this, and it was interesting. So, I'm going to promote everything I show you guys. This is a debate that's really worth watching. It can kind of show you where you fall on these things, and yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. You have something to show us there?
Yeah, this, in contrast, is what politics used to be like.
Yep. Oh, I gotta turn on the volume.
The world will never have to suffer through. I am so clever. That's why they picked me to convince Congress to go to war.
There is no just cause for an invasion of Iraq.
Well, that may be. But what we're all forgetting is, anyone who doesn't want to go to war is gay.
I want to go to war. Oh, yes, we should definitely go. Yes, we should totally go.
I was the first one who wanted to go to war.
Anyways.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Oh, crud. My stream closed. Hang on.
Good old Family Guy.
Yeah.
Well, Mel Gibson, this is one piece of crap.
Anyways.
Okay.
There, a little bit of what it used to be like before AI in a nutshell.
Yeah.
A little bit satire, but
So I don't know about you, but I really appreciated the nuance and the quality of the arguments with the, without an emotion that got in the way. I thought it was cool to see.
That is really cool.
Yeah, and they do a few others, right? They do atheist versus believer. They do. I think they did Muslim versus Christian, maybe. I'm not sure. So yeah, there are a lot of interesting ones in there, and
Let me ask you this. This may be difficult to answer, but do you think that relying on AI to solve these types of issues is the right way to go? Do you think?
I think it's a good starting point, and then humans need to make the decisions after that.
Okay. Because I feel like if we just simply ask AI,
Yeah,
I mean, there really is no type of human element to it. There's no rationalization or
right.
any kind of reasoning, I would say, within the argument. I get it.
It's really important for us to be a part of the process, I think.
Yeah, that's what I think. I was just curious about that because I think that's also an important element because here's the thing, if we let AI determine what we do with our nuclear warheads,
Yeah.
it
Yeah, who
may
knows
not
how
be,
that would go. Right.
who knows? Yeah, exactly. Who knows how would that go?
Yeah.
So,
So I think this is good as like information more than
mhm,
anything, right?
yeah.
So maybe it could be used by just normal people, citizens that want to inform themselves a little bit, because some of these are the best arguments that I've ever heard from both sides. Um, but maybe also like legislators, they can use it as a tool to bounce off of and sort of figure out which direction they want to go. So I think there's like it would be a good tool for people to learn. So that would be the main way I would suggest using it if we had to.
I think it would be a lot better if we did use it that way.
Yeah. Um, I have another thing. This is we're going to be
Okay.
getting into politics now. So
If this wasn't already politics, but
yeah,
okay.
yes, this is more political. So if you are worried about that, gives you anxiety, um, feel free to leave. This is the disclaimer we give in every video. We leave politics toward the end so that you can watch everything prior to that and leave when you wish to. So just let that be known. This is where politics starts. Yes. So the next thing is this. Have you seen this?
Oh, I have not.
Check this out.
And bring it back to the party of the people and the party of peace. That I'm proud to stand here with you today, President Trump, and announce that I'm joining the Republican Party.
Well, she finally joined.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Remember that meme I sent you? Where she was talking about, what was it? No, never mind. Sorry. There was a meme that I sent you a long time ago where after she left the Democratic Party, it was like this guy, this little stick figure poking at Tulsi, saying, "Come on, switch over."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought that
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
I thought that was funny. But
What do you think about that?
her joining, I think, I didn't hear about this till now, so
Yeah.
um,
It's kind of
I mean, I t it makes me wonder. Okay, how far has the left gone exactly? How far would you think the left has gone?
yeah.
That's what it makes me think specifically.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
your if your party, if you have members of the Democratic Party switching over to the Republican Party, then I think that's an indication to me that the Democratic Party to some extent has either gone too far.
yeah.
But the thing is, how can you measure exactly how
Right.
far the left has gone, you know?
Well, what it kind of says to me is that she's been bitten, you know? She's been bitten and she's not going to go back that way. Right?
Yeah.
Like the Democrats, whatever they did to her, that made her not just go to
Switch.
independent but switch all the way over, right? So,
Yeah, it was a process for her because I remember she left the Democratic Party,
right.
then went to independent, and then she joined the Republican. Now she's joining the Republican Party.
Mhm.
So now it makes me wonder, is RFK Jr. going to follow suit?
Yeah. I don't know. Is he still
He has
technically a Democrat?
he's still no, he's now an independent,
Mm.
I believe. I believe he ran as an independent candidate
Yeah. Well, he started on the Democrat
and
ticket,
then
I
he
think.
left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't think I would go to the Republican Party if I were her, cuz, I mean, I just think there are too many hypocrites in each party, and
Yeah.
I'm just not willing to associate myself with that.
No.
Um,
It's oh my goodness. They're both bad. They're
right.
both really, really bad.
Yeah.
Honestly, the people in DC,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
They're just waiting for whatever. They're both holding hands.
So I think I would be quite happy staying in an independent. Like, I don't know.
Making informed decisions, you know.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
the most important part. Don't vote based off of your feelings, I would say. I would vote mostly off of, okay, what do I think
Is going to be
is
the best.
is going to be like the best candidate for the future moving forward? What do I
Right.
think the best policies
Right.
are going to be for myself and my family? That's what
Yeah.
I think. I
Yeah.
think that's, if anything, that's more important than
Well,
anything
and for
else,
the
I would
country
say.
as a whole, of course.
And for the country, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and this is I guess this was 12 days before the election, but now we're only 10 days until the election, which I think is pretty insane. Like, I wasn't it kind of hit me today. Like, this is coming up. This is like,
Have you voted yet?
yes, I have.
You turn in your ballot?
Yep. Mailed it in. We live in California, so that's the way it goes.
That is the way it goes for us.
You know what? I was thinking about it, and I was like, there are places to drop off your ballot if you don't want to mail it. And I was thinking, like, do I trust any institution more than the mail service, than the postal service, to take my ballot? Because, like, I could have dropped it off at my school. I don't really trust them. I could have dropped it off at a number of other places, like Food Max or whatever. Do I trust any of those places more? I don't think so.
There's a what is it? I'm signed up for it. There's a way you can track your ballot, and I'm signed
Oh.
up for it.
Have you
So
mailed
it
yours
tells
in already?
Not yet. No, I haven't voted.
You got your ballot, though, right?
I do have my ballot. My girlfriend, I'm waiting on her. I mean, we keep doing this where, what was it? A couple nights ago, I said, "Oh, you should come over. We'll get this taken care of. We'll both look online. We'll check this out. We'll check the policies out, and we'll make informed decisions
Yeah.
and go from there. And then we'll mail in our ballots."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Haven't done it yet. Haven't had time.
Yep. You only got 10 days left. Got to get it done.
We're gonna do it. We'll probably do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be definitely tomorrow.
Tomorrow is our party, too. Don't forget about that.
No, yeah.
Halloween
If
party.
anything, we're gonna be a little late. I will say that, because probably about an hour late, because she's gonna get off of work, and then she'll probably come over, take a shower, and then change into her Halloween costume. And I just realized I don't really have a Halloween costume, so I better figure something out real quick. It's probably gonna be Ghost again.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'll be Ghost. Why not?
Might as well.
I'll do it.
Yeah, Halloween and the election are coming up. It's a spooky season, that's for sure. So yeah, this was the first thing. I just thought it was interesting that she decided to join the Republican Party. I don't know. It's kind of
Yeah,
crazy to me.
I mean, what was it? Back in 2019, 2020?
Yeah. You wouldn't expect to see it. You wouldn't expect to see it at all,
Well,
especially like
she was wiping say what you will, but she was wiping the floor with Kamala Harris. I will
yeah,
say that.
back in the day, yeah, she was.
And I'm not being biased or anything. That's just a known fact. She
Yeah,
was
2020.
wiping the floor with her.
Right.
Kamala was on the losing end of the stick.
Right. Didn't she only have like 1% of votes or something?
Something like that.
For
And
the
also, well,
what do they call
for
it?
the
The
primaries.
primaries, yeah.
Well, and the thing is, this is another thing. It may sound like I'm biased, but I'm not. But she didn't get any, like, she just assumed the role for being the presidential nominee.
Yeah. I mean, technically there's like nothing illegal about that, but
There
it
isn't,
it is a
but
little bit.
it kind of reveals to me a little bit about your character, I would say, because Trump had to go through that whole process.
Yeah.
And we all know that whole debacle between him, Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What was this one? Oh yeah.
We're
Oh
excited
my
about
gosh.
something?
Oh, I'm showing the next thing. It's pretty funny. Donald Trump at McDonald's. This happened like
yes.
right after we published the podcast, I think. This came out. And I think it's really funny because, he's a rich guy. He's just a rich guy. There's no way that he
French fries.
he knows every
hamburger.
intricacy about being middle class. There's just no way. He's been, wealthy for most of his life, probably all of his life. And
Small loan of $1 million.
yeah, exactly. And then he goes to McDonald's and he works a shift or whatever, 15 minutes. I have no idea. And it's just so funny to see him doing this. He's being trained on how to do the fries. He adds extra salt to the fry. He's like, should I add more salt?
Oh my god.
It's just weird. I mean,
well, it's really hot. See if you can touch that sucker.
Oh my god.
it's so funny.
How cute is the car? The next car?
The world we're living in today. Tulsi Gabbard, Republican Party. RFK Jr. sides with Trump. Kamala Harris running for president.
Wasn't this the McDonald's that she claimed to work at or something?
Maybe. Yeah. And she didn't actually work at McDonald's
Yeah.
at any point.
There was another thing too that reminded me of this. I completely
This guy's a
forgot.
good
I'm blanking
instructor.
out of it.
I'm going to give a really big one so that. Look at that.
I'm
Look at the pouring
mesmerized.
out of it. How good is that, Mark?
He says he loves McDonald's.
I know.
He's like the fast food fiend.
She's the only one who can afford to have them.
I mean, even if I went and I saw Joe Biden.
That'd be pretty funny, I would say.
If I saw Joe Biden working at McDonald's, like our local McDonald's, and I went there and I saw him, I would be so happy.
I think it'd be pretty cool
Like-
to see your president serving you French fries. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna admit I am not a big fan of Joe Biden, but I would be insanely happy to see him. I would be happy to shake his hand. That would be so cool. I would be 100% happy to see Joe Biden at a McDonald's.
Soft serve ice cream.
Yeah, serves me soft serve ice cream. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I think it's just so funny, like, to see them doing stuff like this. It's just weird, and I don't know. This is like the American politics out of context moment, you know? Have you ever seen those videos?
Yes, I have, and they're hilarious.
Where it's like Ted Cruz doing the filibuster, Sam I Am, Green Eggs and Ham.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so good. I love these moments
Sam I
in
Am,
politics.
green eggs and ham.
So good. Oh my gosh. I think these are the moments that make politics kind of fun. Like
It makes it a
regardless
lot more
of the
entertaining.
intentions, it's really fun to see him.
Regardless of the political side, this is pretty funny, I would say.
Yeah. And the last thing to talk about is this, and I watched it all the way through, 1 hour and 40 minutes.
You watched Borat?
Borat? No.
No, I'm kidding. That's a bad joke.
I don't think I've ever watched Borat.
I haven't either.
I think my dad has. I think he keeps
Your
telling me
dad-
to watch it.
Your dad mentioned that to me. Your dad mentioned it to me that he watched it.
Oh man. This is Ben Shapiro versus 25 Kamala Harris voters. I didn't like this video. Have you watched it?
My mom saw it. She didn't like it either.
Yeah, I didn't like it. It's
She
the
didn't
same
like it at all.
problems. Same problems
It is.
as the ones in the last video.
The what was it? The one conservative debates 25 liberals, one liberal debates 25 conservatives or Trump supporters.
Right. Same
I
problems
think
as
that's what
that
it was.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right here. This one. And this
Oh, there it is. Good grief.
Yeah.
Jeez, Nelson, come on now. Read.
one. Well, it's probably hard for you to see, but
No, I can read it. It's just I'm too dumb to look at the words.
no. I mean there wasn't okay. It's difficult. There's no winner in this. No minds were changed again. I don't like the system where they run to the chair. I don't like the voting out system. I don't like any of that.
You think they should take turns?
Maybe
I feel like that'd be better if
maybe
they did that.
each get like 2 minutes with him or something. Because I
don't
think
know.
some of them didn't even get to go up. Yeah, I'm almost certain some of them didn't go up. Probably at least 10 of them. Five or 10 of them didn't even get to go up. So that was kind of dumb. So it's not even like he's really debating 25 people. I don't know what to say. This is, I mean, it has 5.8 million views.
Yeah.
Ben Shapiro, you know, he's kind of an impressive guy. He can really talk, get ideas out there. He has good knowledge of the way things go, and some of these people do too. But there are some that just don't have an
Quick-witted
idea
and are great at insulting each other.
right.
I will say that. That's you've lost an argument when the second you start insulting somebody for their looks and how they act and what they do.
Right.
It doesn't get you anywhere. It's disrespectful. It gets nothing done.
Yeah.
You didn't even.
I don't know if you can see it, but this guy right here, he came up and he talked the whole time. Ben didn't talk at all. He didn't want to have a debate. That's not what he wanted. He wanted to get up in Ben's grill and be disrespectful and not make any attempt to be productive. It was just ridiculous, and they didn't vote him out for it. That was kind of like they'll vote out people who want to hear what Ben has to say, want to respond to that, and want to get down to what's happening, but what the differences are between their two philosophies.
I think they vote them. I think part of no offense, I don't mean to interrupt, but I think another reason why they vote them out is because their argument isn't as strong as theirs.
Or they think their argument isn't as strong as theirs.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree.
It's just this type of
they don't
fight
Yeah.
like vultures. That's and
Right.
Republicans do.
Yeah.
Republicans do this as well. They fight like vultures.
Yeah.
Both groups fight like vultures.
You know what? We saw that in
it's
this video
disgusting.
too. That lady, the lady that came up, she didn't want to hear him talk either. So the same thing happened. It's exactly the same thing.
It's all talk and nonsense. That's
Right.
it. Talk and nonsense gets you nowhere. Whereas the AI video actually gave you some food for thought.
Right, exactly. that's why I think this is the AI is the future, because these people, most of them, don't want to admit they're wrong. They have too much pride, and I'm sure Ben has some pride there too, of course. People in general don't want to admit they're wrong. They will rationalize anything, pretend that some of these facts don't exist.
They need to protect their ego.
Exactly. And I think that's
the most powerful thing you can do is admitting when you're wrong.
Exactly.
That's one of the things that, because we're all human.
Right.
And
humans just aren't willing to, for the most part.
I will admit when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Because how else am I supposed to learn?
That's a good thing.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Admitting you're wrong is part of the learning process, and you learn best when you do something wrong, or you get something wrong, or you just misunderstood something.
You fail.
Right, you fail. Exactly. And in politics, people just ignore that principle. So many people do. They don't want to hear the other side. They don't want to admit they're wrong. They just want to spout. That's all this guy wanted to do. He just wanted to, like, air his grievances. That's what one of the comments said.
Well, now that reminds me of the debate between Tim Walz and J.D. Vance, because I remember a couple weeks back we were talking about, that debate was actually probably one of the best since like the 1980s, I would say. Most civilized. It was like the only type of, they were both trying to focus. Like, why aren't these two knuckleheads running for the country?
I know.
Yeah. Why aren't they?
Yeah.
Why aren't these two men running for the nation?
Right.
I mean, okay,
it would be pretty
right.
good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm disappointed in these people for the most part. Ben didn't. He never raised his voice when this guy was talking and talking and talking. He didn't try to interrupt him. He just sat back and took it, which was kind of admirable. He wasn't trying to
because he probably knew what he had to say.
Yeah.
Because knowing Ben Shapiro, that is like his personality.
Let's see. At the end, he
immigration, although I think
he said some things that I thought were kind of cool. This is the guy that
so you can see what it's like.
Somewhat irritating when people decide to take advantage of a time to have a discussion or an argument to simply rant for minutes on end. But again, person's entitled to their feelings.
If I can name one
that's just a solid perspective on that. Like, this guy, he was just a jerk. Let's see.
To be fair, I didn't really expect
Did he raise his voice at him?
Across because
yeah.
That makes sense.
Ben has worked, so I really wanted to kind of give him a taste of his own medicine so you can see what it's like.
Somewhat irritating when
he's just a jerk.
I don't know about taste of his own medicine. I don't know about that, but
yeah, I was just not. I didn't like this video at all. And it gets your heart racing too, right? Because these are touchy subjects that he's bringing up, and
these are grown people,
right? You would expect better from grown people, like, what the heck? These people are not able to just have a solid conversation. They have to get all up in arms and offended about everything, and they really have to stick it to Ben Shapiro because he's an evil dude. So yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of things that I won't say on the podcast right now. There's a lot of things that I don't agree with on Ben Shapiro. There's a lot.
I 100% agree. Yeah, I definitely don't agree with everything Ben Shapiro says.
Yeah, but what I will say is, on the surface level, and even on a deeper level to some extent, you could argue that Ben Shapiro, of course, knowing his popularity, he will always maintain pretty much the exact same like personality type for years to come.
Yeah,
like his form of arguments and his thought process will pretty much remain the exact same.
Yeah.
And
right,
I don't know.
He's fairly consistent.
Is it a bit eccentric, egotistical? Maybe.
Sometimes, yeah.
I'd like to think it is.
Well, and he has a really strong attachment to the Jewish community, right? So
yes,
and
that too.
It almost, he's very biased. there, right? So
A lot of what was it? A lot of people. Who was it? I forgot one of the Daily Wire's members. Ben Shapiro interviewed him. He was a member of he still is a member of the
Michael
Daily
Knowles,
Wire.
maybe?
No, not Michael. Is he Christian or is he Jewish?
I think Michael Knowles is Catholic.
Catholic? There was somebody who
I don't know.
who switched from Jewish to Christian. If I'm not mistaken, I forgot his name. It's the
I don't know.
bald dude.
Oh, I can't remember his name. I don't know. I know who you're talking about though.
But there was an interview, and Ben Shapiro was asking him questions like, "What's the deal? Why'd you switch from being a Jewish person to a Christian?"
Yeah.
Because I mean, as you know, Jewish people they don't recognize Jesus as the Messiah.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, just a little bit of more information for those curious, but
right.
Just to give you an idea exactly of what type of person Ben Shapiro is, and I will say, and I will give him props for this. A lot of it, and it is unfortunate for me to say it to some extent, but a lot of his arguments are not really, I would say, based off of the clips that I've seen of him. They aren't based off of a religious perspective because, I mean, in the modern world, when you start bringing religion into the form of like politics and arguing about policy, unfortunately, it starts to fall apart, I would say.
Religion is not useful for arguments with people that are not religious. That's the thing.
That's my point. So,
yeah. So, yeah, I agree. He doesn't. I mean, he obviously has the foundational religious stuff, right? So he's like grounded in his religion, and that's the basis for most of what he believes, right? So that's still a thing.
When it comes to arguing with those that are non-religious,
right,
he will what's the best way of putting it? Inject a certain like mindset into his arguments,
right?
To where
he doesn't try to use the religious arguments.
He doesn't use religion to justify his reasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
So makes sense. So I'll give him that. That's a nice perk to have, I would say.
Yeah, he's capable of making arguments independent
of
his religious beliefs. Seems like. Yeah. So Jubilee, I don't know. If I were Jubilee, I would do things a little differently, I think. Fortunately, it seems like Jubilee is mostly trying to be independent of the conversation, right? They're not favoring one side over the other. But it's still like I almost think that they should have a moderator in this situation, right? Because things with that guy got out of hand, I think. He was just disrespectful.
Let the man talk for a little bit. I get it.
Right.
Taste of his own medicine. Yeah, you can have your 15 minutes of fame, whatever.
Yeah.
But
and obviously I've talked about my gripes with the structure of the debate, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So another one of Jubilee's videos. I wish they did things a little differently, but this is
our favorite
what we got.
piece of content when it comes to the world of politics.
Yep.
For us, at least, it's always Jubilee.
Yep.
I mean,
it is
Jubilee,
interesting to hear both sides,
it was
right?
VOX before Vox.
Yeah.
Some of the debates that they've had before, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. It is interesting to hear some of the arguments from both sides, but like we said before, in that AI video, it was completely different. There was purely arguments from both sides. It was not, there was no yelling, nothing like that. No tension, unnecessary tension, right? So I think, if you want to be informed, this is not the kind of video to go to. The AI video is the kind of video to go to. And I think that's where some of the benefits of...
You can make your own decision afterwards.
Right, because it's not...
Don't let it make the decision for you.
Right. Right, yeah. and it's not influenced by emotion in any way. It's just pure facts and regular, decent, solid arguments. So I think that's a really good direction that we're going in. In the future, people hopefully will be able to make better arguments against other people based on these videos, and also make better informed moral decisions for themselves based on some of these videos.
Here's a moral decision or moral question for you. Is Rosie O'Donnell ugly?
I don't even know what she looks like.
You don't have to answer that. You don't have to answer that.
I don't think I've ever seen what she looks like.
To the listeners, there was a clip that I found on YouTube called Donald Trump versus Rosie O'Donnell, and it's just Donald Trump roasting Rosie O'Donnell. And one of the specific parts that I saw of that clip was, Rosie is just an ugly person, both inside and out. I don't know why. It was just funny to me. And I thought I would send that to you and your dad, and I guess you guys both got a laugh out of it. I have a feeling that you
it was
guys
funny.
seen that before.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Your dad probably has. I don't know. But...
yeah. Only Rosie O'Donnell. Oh, man. Well,
oh my goodness.
What are we at now?
I don't know. What are we at? Because are we gonna play Black Ops?
Yeah, we should. But we'll probably do that off podcast because
Oh well, of course.
We're
Obviously,
2 hours in.
We're 2 hours into this already. So
yeah.
I mean.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure. Again, closing off this podcast. We have more things in store for next week. We are, going to keep up with some news. Maybe talk a little bit more about Black Ops next week because it's still fresh. We haven't had that much time on it. Obviously, Nelson's had 10 hours. If you're interested in that stuff, let us know somehow. And we will keep up that subject matter, I guess. And
I'll try not to ramble because I think I realize now at this point I did ramble a little bit for like the first 40 minutes of this episode.
Rambling is good. It fills time.
Well, I mean, you don't want to just hear, the audience obviously doesn't want to hear my annoying voice. So
no.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be honest real quick. I have not really listened or watched back our previous podcasts that we've made. I would rather not, because if I think about it, if I watch it, I'm going to think, why did I say that? I should have said this instead. That's just me.
For the most part with me, it's just like, well, I do watch them back and I'm like, oh, I should have said this also. Because I forget stuff.
At least, you're actually smart. I'm
no,
stupid.
So, no. You're very smart. Anyway, ending off the podcast.
Okay. All right. Well, to the viewers and listeners, this is... What episode is this? I've lost track now.
This is number 6.
4? Number 6? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, to the viewers and listeners, we hope you had a good listen, and we would like to hear from you guys in the comments, so feel free to comment and subscribe. We are at, 9 subscribers now at this point, I think?
We were last week. I haven't checked since then. You know what? I can actually do that right now.
We need subscribers. Please, subscribe. We love seeing that number go up. It's great.
Yeah, still 9.
It means a lot to us. Okay? So...
Yeah.
We love seeing the subscribers go up.
Definitely. Comment and subscribe. Those are the biggest things.
Please.
And, a like doesn't hurt either, but, that adds to your liked videos playlist, and, sometimes people don't like to add to that, so.
They will gladly scroll through YouTube Shorts and hit the like button constantly.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is Nelson.
And this is Logan.
All right. You guys have a good one now.
Yep. Bye-bye.